Yo, good morning. What's going on, everybody? Welcome to the Stokastic.com MLB strategy show. Going to tackle the early slate here because why would we not? Here's the way I see it. You got a main slate tonight, and we have live before lock for that tonight. I think 5:30. So nice little 4-game slate here for the main slate. What's up, Steven? Happy to have you guys with us or with me. Yeah, we got a nice 4-game slate. We have Coors Field on the early. You've got the LA Dodgers against Miami, two teams with just monstrous totals. Actually, a little bit of decent pitching as well. So, yeah, I mean, there's a lot to dig into today. From Chris Sale at Colorado to Michael King at home against San Francisco at home, where he's been fantastic. Tony Gonsolin making his first start of the year, coming off the IL after those rehab starts down there in the minors. So, yeah, we got Emerson Hancock against LA. Yeah. And Steven, yes, it's good because you're playing early. Well, yeah, I got a bunch of stuff to do tonight as well. So this makes life easier for me, going to be able to play this slate and enjoy it. And you also actually have some really nice contests going for the early slate. So that helps. Still wish they would provide some more, some more to every stakes. But this $15 relay throw, $25K up top, not a bad contest. FanDuel's got a few as well. But yeah, let's dive into it. Michael, what's up? Cujo, happy to have you guys here. I'm actually excited to talk about this slate. Very excited for this one because I enjoy these 4-gamers. And I enjoy them on the early slate because I can sit around and sweat baseball, have the TV on in the background or something like that. Makes life easy. Patrick almost took down the 333 last night with the Sims. Oh, man. Couldn't manage to get the one-off Adames. Haha. Well, hopefully you still had a great finish because even if you don't take down the 333, if you have a decent finish in there, that can set you up for a while. Problem is so many of these contest payouts are top-heavy. But, yeah, man, let's talk about it. I ran the Sims. I got the top pitchers and top stacks tool up. I think there is going to be one thing that surprises all of us, and I'm not going to lie. Twofold, actually. One, I expect it to change, and two, I'm not playing it the way it's currently constituted. So we'll get to that in a second. Yeah, Sir said the Yankees run yesterday was madness. That was nuts, dude. Matter of fact, I do a show on Twitter a few days a week where I'm just we're betting and we're doing MLB home runs and parlays and the boost and the promos across the industry. And I was doing it yesterday. By the way, come hang out, 2:00 over on X. Just follow me at Lafayette_D if you like to get in on that. Plus, it's actually pretty helpful for DFS too. I've mentioned to you guys a lot that I use a lot of betting info to dictate some DFS decisions. So do our tools, by the way. But I went into the live odds tool over on OddsShopper and I started looking at the home runs, and every plus EV home run was coming from that Yankees-Baltimore game, right? I mean, you had 83 degrees. Temperatures were blowing out like 10, 11 miles per hour to left field. You had Kyle Gibson making his first start of the year. He got shelled. I mean, what was it? Grisham, homer. Next up, Judge, homer. Goldschmidt, ground out. Rice, homer. Bellinger, homer in the first inning. And then Rice homered again in the second inning. Gibson gave up 5 home runs. I'm surprised he got into the 4th, honestly. Really incredible stuff. Yankees were just crushing. I had that Grisham homer as my DK no sweat. I also had Jazz to homer. He triples, and they took him out of the game because he got hurt. Colin, thanks for the coverage. Thanks for being here, man. Let's do it. And yes, Al, money to be made. Let's get it. Yes, sir. We'll dive into it right now. All right, you guys ready for something gross? I'll show you out of the gate. Forget about the exposure we're getting to Sale and Emerson Hancock and to Michael King. The one that stood out to me, this Chase Dollander is horrifying, 23%. Atlanta has a 6.6 run implied total today. They're minus 290 money line favorites with Sale on the other side. I mean, my God, that is bad. And if there's one thing about Dollander that scares me, by the way, if you guys don't mind helping promote this show, It goes a long way for me. Just a thumbs up, subscribe to the channel, all that stuff. If you're watching after the fact, leave a comment down below. That doesn't go unnoticed. Legitimately appreciate it. Plus, it's free to do all of it. And if you hate this, feel free to hit the thumbs down, but do it twice. All right, look at Chase Dollander here. This is going to blow your mind. So, first of all, he's been just getting tuned up. But he's allowing 3.72 home runs per 9. Out of 4 starts, he's allowed multiple home runs in 3 of them, with 4 home runs in a home game against Washington. But it actually gets worse than that. Because while you look at his K rate, and it's not bad, 23%, in the minors, he had a really strong strikeout rate as well. He has not been a ground ball pitcher. He's getting no soft contact. And the part that jumped off the page to me that was legitimately frightening, look at this guy's barrel rate. 19.4% barrel rate for Chase Dollander. And he's allowed 8 home runs through his first 4 starts. So forgive me if I have some reservations about getting there today. Understandably, he's 6K. But that is just as bad as a spot as it gets against this Braves team that is clearly heating up, right? Through their first 2 games at Coors, they're putting up big run totals. I hate that spot, but we are getting to some of them right now. Like I said, I think it changes. I think that's going to change, despite the fact that it's a short slate. I can't see it. I can't see that. I can't see it staying there. But Chris Sale and Michael King are our 2 highest exposed. And of course, you guys have questions. Always hit me up in the comments. Hit it up too. Steven, so no doubt Sale is a play, but I have a concern. The slider, Sale's main pitch, does not play as well. Excuse me, play as well for pitchers in Coors. Yeah, well, I mean, to be fair, no breaking balls do, right? No breaking balls play as well for pitchers at Coors. But I think there are a few reasons why I'm willing to overlook that. Now, number one, he's going to be popular. So if this is a spot that you want to get away from, by all means, go for it. Find somebody else. Good luck with that, but find somebody else. He's 8K, right? So you're paying 8K for Chris Sale. And the Rockies are still a bad baseball team. Like, Smith-Shawver had a perfectly reasonable game yesterday at Coors. I think Elder got tuned up, right? The game before. But it is still Chris Sale at 8K with very quality strikeout stuff. And you're getting him at a price point that clearly bakes Coors Field into this. I mean, without question, you are not paying a premium for Chris Sale by any stretch. So if that's the case, then I'm willing to at least get there. Here, okay, look at this. Look at Chris. Maybe this will assuage some of those concerns. Or maybe not, Steven. Maybe you're just right. Look at his K prop on FanDuel. It's over 7.5 at minus 108. I mean, that's a pretty wild number. And then, yeah, you've got a little bit of, you got juice to the under on some of these other 7.5s. But it is still 7.5 for an 8K pitcher. I mean, let's think about it like this. How often, guys, when we play these MLB slates, how often do we have an 8K pitcher with a 7.5K prop? I feel like it is very rare. Very, very rare. Lone Wolf said juice to the tits. Not on FanDuel, it's not. On FanDuel, the juice is minus 118 to the under on 7.5. And FanDuel, honestly, if you're talking about rec books, is a sharper book by far than DK and Caesars, without question. So 8K, 7.5 strikeouts. Pretty reasonable number there. Pretty good for that price. Let's see what his earned runs are. It's got to be what, 2.5? 2.5, possibly juice to the under? Yeah, look. 2.5 earned runs on Sale, minus 141 on Pinnacle. And then pitching outs is probably 17.5. Gotta be, right? Got to be 17 and a half or 17 and a half, heavy juice to the over. So if you're just using Vegas as a way to try and figure out what the projections are on sale, you're talking what? 6 innings, 7 Ks, 2 earned around. I think we'd take that at 8K. It doesn't mean that's what's going to happen. But yeah, I mean, Chris Sale's in a good spot. And then you have Michael King against San Francisco, another very, very viable spot. You guys, anybody watching this, I think will appreciate this, especially after Steven, when you pointed out yesterday that San Diego, and we pulled it up over at Baseball Savant, San Diego has played super favorable for power from a home run perspective since those, they changed the dimensions in the outfield, particularly for righties. But look at Michael King last year at home. I was pretty blown away by this. I was looking at it this morning. Michael King at home this year. Last year. And what was that? How many innings pitched at home? I think a pretty decent number. It was, 78 and 2/3 innings pitched at home. Look at this. 32.5% K rate, less than a home run per 9, with a 2.98 xFIP. So at home, he's been fantastic. I mean, really good. Doesn't give up a lot of fly balls. It's just a spot for Michael King that's hard to get away from. And my guess is that if we start looking at player props here using the live odds tool on OddsShopper, he's just going to have everything looking really good today. Real good. I can't imagine he doesn't. Let's see here. Michael King, pitching outs, 17 and a half, minus 175 in some spots. Earned runs on Michael King. Is it 1.5 by any chance? Yep, 1.5. Even on both sides. Okay. And then strikeouts, what, 6.5? 6.5 with juice to the over. So, I mean, again, him and Sale to me just look like, on paper, far and away the two best options on this slate. And ownership bears that out. You've got Chris Sale on DraftKings early slate pulling 62%. Michael King pulling 52%. It doesn't surprise me at all. It really doesn't. So then the question becomes, because we're going to get to those guys. At least I know I am. There's no doubt I'm getting to both of them in these particular spots. Then the question is, who do we get to after that? Are we looking at a Landon Root in the same park as Michael King? Tony Gonsolin against Miami. That spot, at the very least, is interesting to me, because does he just go long enough to where the Marlins are so bad that nothing else really matters? Is that possible? Is it possible that he just goes long enough into this game that nothing else matters? If that's the case, maybe at 8,700, he ends up being a phenomenal contrarian play. And I know it feels ugly because there's nothing about Tony Gonsolin that's, elite, except the matchup, in the sense that he's a huge favorite. If he can get 5, you're more than likely getting the win, right? I mean, what's the money line? 350, 325 on DraftKings, which is crazy. Crazy. And then let me see here. Let me see if I can pull up. I was hoping I could get some of those rehab starts for Gonsolin. Would have been nice. I think I probably can if I go to minor league baseball. Let's see. See how many pitches, because I know last week he had thrown 78 pitches. You can live with that coming off. If he had one more start, that would have been super helpful, but I don't think he did. I think 78 was probably the last one that he threw. And let's see. Stats, game logs. April 23rd. Yeah, he went 5 innings, 78 pitches, 2 homers, but 2 earned, 3 strikeouts. I don't know. Are we willing to go here today? Are we willing to get to a low-owned Tony Gonsolin against a terrible Miami team? I mean, for what it's worth, Miami's implied total is one of the lowest here, right? 4.1. Dodgers are at 6.6. I don't know, man. It's obviously concerning because it's his first start. We saw what happened to Kyle Gibson in his first start. Yet that was in super favorable hitting conditions against the Yankees. Also, Kyle Gibson's just not very good. But 14% ownership. So check this out. 11% leverage on Gonsolin for a 4-game slate. That seems crazy to me. I think I want to get over the field a little bit here. Again, nothing exciting about this guy. You're simply looking at 2 things. Can he give us 5 innings and get the win, where he is a minus 325, in some spots, even shorter odds favorite against Miami, with Cal Quantrill on the other side? Can he just be good enough? Because if that's the case and Chris Sale goes into Colorado and gets knocked around a little bit, Gonsolin might actually be the answer. He might be the guy we need, as crazy as that sounds. Tony Gonsolin could end up being a guy that we need in lineups as that pivot off of a 63% owned Sale with 14% ownership at a very similar price point. Now, look, I'm just talking through this. It's a straight stream of consciousness. So feel free to push back on any of this. I take no offense to any of it, right? If you say, hey, Laffy, that's a moronic take, I'll happily take it in. I mean, maybe phrase it a little bit differently than that, because, when you come in hot, it doesn't help. But looking at Chris Sale, this guy, is this amazing or what? I'm honestly shocked by this. Can you guys see this on the screen? Sale has not gone more than 5 innings in 6 starts this year. That's amazing. Arizona, Minnesota, Tampa Bay, Philly, Dodgers, and San Diego. So a bit of a gauntlet, but I mean, he hasn't gone past 5 innings in any of these starts. That's amazing. And he still has good strikeout stuff. Vegas is still looking at this spot as a guy who is, very capable of going 6+ with, 7-8 strikeouts and only a couple earned. But it's crazy. Willie, it was nice to own the Yanks yesterday, 1-5. Great show, Laffy. Thanks, man. Yeah, I would assume it was great to own the Yankees yesterday. Yeah. Sotex, what's up, brother? Glad to have you here. Anyway, the reason I love these small slates is because sometimes guys, and even with, MLB and DFS being consumed by much sharper people now, sometimes things still go overlooked. And I just can't get past the fact that Sale's getting 62%. And yes, I'm going to have a good amount of Chris Sale in Colorado. There's no doubt about it. I think I like Michael King, even at that price point, probably a little bit more than Chris Sale. I love the matchup. His home splits have been insane ever since he came to San Diego. So then the elephant in the room, and you guys all know where I'm going here. It's not Chase Dollander, and it's not Cal Quantrill. We talked about Tony Gonsolin. I think there's a lot there. Just in the sense that he's not getting owned. And he has 11% leverage. Still has, by the way, the 3rd highest top 2 pitcher probability on the slate, behind only Sale and Michael King. But Emerson Hancock, right? This sounds like someone who, it's just an incredible name. Too much low-hanging fruit to talk about the Declaration of Independence, but the name Emerson Hancock, you got a name like that, you better be good at something. And compared to the rest of the world, he's a great pitcher. The question is, compared to everyone else on this slate, is Emerson Hancock someone we want to get to? I think it's a mixed bag, and I'm a bit conflicted on this one. Captain America, sharper? Never. MFers using this AI-driven tech too much. Got to stay ahead of the programs available to the public. No, it's, dude, I'm telling you, it's way sharper than, when did you start playing DFS? If you started playing like MLB DFS in 2013 or 14 or 15, you could have had basic knowledge of baseball and binked a bunch of tournaments. I'm telling you, it's a lot sharper than it once was. For sure. That's not, by the way, that's not an opinion either. And I'm not being condescending. It's not an opinion, it's a fact. Without question. Emerson Hancock, though, 7K. So if we look at all of the cheap pitchers, let's just sort this by salary. You have Quantrill, Dollander, Emerson Hancock. Those are your three guys, 7K or lower. Matter of fact, there's nobody in that 7K to 8 or 71 to 79 range. Nobody's in that range whatsoever. And Michael King's the only guy in the 9K range. So with Emerson Hancock, we actually have him 24% top two pitcher, but we also have him a little bit over-owned. Yeah, I mean, look, Captain America, I'm not denying that either. Same, like our Sims tools have turned a lot of people into highly, highly profitable players. Highly profitable players. But you also have to consider that, you know, the more people use tools, the more the necessity is for other people to use tools. Or you're just like the sharpest person on earth and you can figure it out on your own with hand build techniques and have an extensive amount of time on your hands and be able to build your own projections that are better than anybody else's. You know, there's that. I am simply not capable. Yeah, so Tex, it is. It definitely is. But all right, so Emerson Hancock, 28% owned, 24% top two pitcher. If there's two things that are good about Emerson Hancock on this slate, and these are actually really significant things, so they shouldn't go overlooked. It is, one, the fact that the Angels strike out a lot, right? The Angels are going to strike out at a high clip. That is the one significant benefit for Emerson Hancock. The downside there is that he doesn't get a ton of strikeouts. But 27.1% is the second highest K rate against righties this year, behind only the Colorado Rockies. So that's one check in the positive box for Emerson Hancock. The other check in that box is the fact that you're playing at a park that is wildly favorable for pitchers. I mean, really, really favorable for pitchers. And it doesn't matter if you're talking left-handed batters, right-handed batters, or both. T-Mobile Park is super, super favorable. Look at this. All blue across the board. And if you look at park factor, isn't this crazy? There isn't a single park that is even close to as bad as T-Mobile on this rolling 3-year over the last 3 years. That includes PNC. That includes Oracle in San Francisco. All of these. Right? Like, hands down, this is one of those parks. Now, you look at the way that some of these guys have pitched at home and on the road. Somehow Emerson Hancock hasn't channeled the same energy that guys like Miller and all of these other good pitchers have had in Seattle, because at home and on the road, he hasn't been all that much different. But I still think he's super viable here. I really do. Just because you have that working for you and the Angels have a monster K rate and a 4.3 run implied total in a really pitcher-friendly park, and it's a 4-game slate with Emerson Hancock at 7K. Totally reasonable. I am under the field on him right now. But my guess is if I went in and said, look, I don't want to get to Chase Dollander here, and I'm going to limit his exposure to 5% in this Sims tool, I would think that my exposure to Hancock has to get up above that 19% range. Yeah, he goes to 23, whereas Sale just comes up a lot higher. What I'd like to do is get a little bit overweight to Tony Gonsolin. That's what I'd like to do. Landon Roop is fine, but at that price point, I'm not in love with him. And then the question about Tyler Anderson from Arcatelza. What's up, dude? Yeah, so Anderson hasn't even been bad. Problem is, you're also paying for a Tyler Anderson that's pitching well. And how sustainable are the numbers that we're getting out of Anderson this season? I don't know the answer to that, but I can tell you that for his career, he's a sub 20% K rate guy. That is where he's been forever, literally forever. He's lived in that 18 to 20% strike K rate range. You know, that type of pitching at 8,200, you just become wildly dependent on so much other stuff. Primarily the fact that he has to go deep into games, right? Like if you want Tyler Anderson to give you the type of game that you need, he has to go deep into the game almost every time. Are there going to be random times where he grabs a bunch of strikeouts? Sure. And he's had 2 strikeout games, but you'd really need for him to limit runs and go deep. I don't love it here. I honestly don't. I would almost be more interested in Seattle stacks against Anderson and see if you can play for a little of that regression. He has a 59% fly ball rate this year. To me, that's actually pretty interesting. And we are getting a lot of that. By the way, you guys ever want to use these tools, for any of you watching, the simplest no-brainer way to do it, to get in on the top stacks, the top pitchers tool, everything, ownership, player projections, and most importantly, these sims that are simulating the field and then giving you all of the highest simmed ROI lineups in one shot, to which you can then make your own adjustments with ROI boost, with exposure caps. You can do all of these filters. So don't think you're just getting lineups and you have to play exactly what's here, right? You can make adjustments and still get exposures you want, knowing that they, as long as they're positive, a simulated ROI, knowing that you are putting in really good lineups each and every day. And if you want to do that, man, this way could not be easier. Just choose one of these promos below. The link's in the description, all right? Where it says sign up with any of our sportsbook partners and claim any offer by clicking claim offer. If you don't click it, we can't track you, but all you have to do is click this. If you're in non-legal betting states, you can still get any of these pick'em sites as well. After you sign up, deposit the minimum. It's usually $5 or $10 on all of these, and then use that to place a bet. After you place that bet, take a screenshot of your welcome email and your first settled bet. That's it. And send them to us at support@stokastic.com through email, and just tell us what you want. If you said, oh shit, man, I'm not on any of these books. Okay, let me get on Caesars, let me get on Fanatics, BetMGM, and let me get on Underdog as well. Not only are you getting your bonus bets there and your match deposits, so you're already making back anything that you spent on the $5 or $10 minimum deposits, but you could jump in and go, oh wow, I just got MLB Core Sims, $120 value. I want PGA, I want NBA playoffs, and I also want MMA or NASCAR. And you could get all 4 of those for the price of like total $25. You're talking almost $500 value. It is unquestionably the simplest, most no-brainer way to get access to these tools and try them out for yourself and start becoming a much better, more disciplined, and more informed DFS player than many people who don't use these tools are right now. So check it out. Links down there. You'll see it. Wherever it says sign up, join any sportsbook, get Stokastic Sims free. Yep. And if you have questions, hit me up. But as long as you click claim offer on any of these, you will get as many free months as you can based on the books that you might not be on yet. It's that simple. All right, let's take a look at some bats. Honestly, Seattle does stand out to me as a nice stack today against Anderson. I understand that Anderson hasn't been bad, but Seattle still has a 4.8 total here. We shouldn't overlook that, right? I mean, you're talking a 4.8 run implied total, third highest top stack probability behind, not surprising, only the Atlanta Braves against Dollander and LA against Cal Quantrill. I like that a lot. And if there's one thing that is more notable than probably anything else, look at the top value score on Seattle today. 22%. No team is particularly close. And they're not even top 2 in ownership. They're third. Third in stack score, third in top stack probability, number 1 in value. I really do like this. And also, I'm not going to say it makes you different, but when you get these Chris Sale, Emerson Hancock lineups with Seattle stacks, I can't help but think most people are going to try and jam Chris Sale with Michael King and then go Seattle. I think that'll be a more popular build than these other ones. And it's funny too. Look at this. Ready? Do we have any? Let's see if we have any Sale King lineups. I know we will, but how many? It looks like not that many. And on these short slates, those little things right there are so valuable to know before you go into these slates. Like, oh, we're getting a lot of Sale and King, but how much of both? Okay, so a lot more than I thought because it wasn't at the top. Wow. All right. So still a decent amount. Sale. Oh no. See, why did it? It should have had, is there another? That shouldn't have happened. I had a feeling that was wrong. I wanted to only show those two. N. There we go. N. All right, now let's see. Still a lot. Still a lot. That's probably like 40 right there. But a lot of them, yes, Seattle, Miami, San Diego, LA, Angels, San Diego, Miami, Seattle, San Diego, Seattle, Seattle, LA. So yeah, still a decent amount of Michael King and Chris Sale lineups. And my guess is that you're just going to see a lot of Emerson Hancock in there as well because he's cheap. And I removed Dollander for the sake of this show. Steven Leibowitz sounds like Sale and King for playing cash, definitely. Rip and Sippin, when I hear the word tool, I think of you, Dave. I assume that's an insult, but then you said smash the like button, sins atone. So I appreciate that part. Appreciate it. No, man, the 3-man Seattle stack here is by far our most common stack for exposure. And then Atlanta 5-mans. So wait, what the hell do our Atlanta 5-man stacks look like? Is it just all Sale and Hancock? Because if you've got Atlanta 5-mans, Sale, Quantrill, Anderson, Sale, oh my God. I mean, that's horrifying. Gonsolin, Sale. Ooh, I like that. Gonna have some back of the order Atlanta guys, but here's an Atlanta Dodgers, Gonsolin, Sale. That's another way you can play it too, right? If you're stacking Atlanta, maybe you just go with 2 expensive pitchers and you go bottom of the order. Nothing wrong with that. Gonsolin, Sale, King, Quantrill, King. Okay, here we go. Here's a 5-man Atlanta stack with Michael King and Chris Sale. Drake Baldwin Matt Olson, Samad Taylor, Max Muncy, Zach Neto, Marcelo Zuna, Michael Harris, and Eli White. Yeah. Captain America going to be the wraparounds. I think you'll see a lot of that too, or at least something in that same vein. Because you're just not getting the meat of the order with Sale and King. It's not happening. Like, I don't think it would even be possible for that to happen. Man, what is up with this Sale Quantrill? How much are we getting of Quantrill? How much did he come up when I got rid of Dollander? %17. Wow. Let's see if we can build one out in the single lineup sim before we go. And this, by the way, this comes with the Core Sims package too. For those of you hand builders out there, like Captain America, you're talking about these tools getting in. This is the best way to do it because you're getting instant feedback on everything you do. And you actually know that you can build lineups out by hand, positively sim them, and know that the tools are giving you positive quality feedback, or when you need to go back to the shop and figure things out. This tool is the best. We haven't used it all that much, and then we'll take a look at a couple homer plays before we go. Where do you guys want to start? I mean, I would like to plug King in. I'm really tempted to go Gonsolin here over Sale and just see what we can come up with. I didn't see a lot of those crazy, Gonsolin, Emerson, Hancock type lineups. But I think for pitcher, where I don't want to go here is Dollander. I don't want to play Quantrill in this one. Not really looking towards Anderson or Landon Root, although Root's getting a decent amount of ownership, nothing crazy. Comparable to Gonsolin, a little bit more. I think we should try one with King and Gonsolin, and then see what happens if we go with Seattle 3-man and then fill in with some maybe Atlanta and the Dodgers. No clue what this is going to end up looking like whatsoever. All right. We could go $2,800 Mitch Garver might be someone we've got to throw in here. Let's try it. Let's try Mitch Garver. And then, man, Seattle really is really cheap. I don't think we need to go to all of these cheap guys, though, right? I mean, if Garver is batting cleanup at that price point, that's just nuts. We could go, yeah, we could plug Polanco in for sure. They are so cheap. I don't really understand how. I'm not saying they've been great, but my God. Julio Rodriguez is $5K. Rosarena is $5K as well. Hold on a second here. Yeah, Patrick, I know. Why is there? Do we have lineups out for this game already? Let me see. Let me see. All right. Why is Polanco not projected to be in the lineup? Is he not projected to start against a lefty? Either way, we don't have him projected, and neither do other sites. So let's keep going. Julio, Raleigh, Arozarena, Mitch Garver, Donovan Solano, Ben Williamson, Leo Rivas, Samad Taylor, and JP Crawford is the projected lineup. Now, with how cheap this team is, if Donovan Solano is batting 5th and you can get this guy at literally minimum salary, we got to try it. So now we have $4,500 per player remaining. I'd like to go with one of these expensive bats. I think probably, let's go with the Rosarena here. I have no clue if this is going to end up looking decent or not. Plus, some of these guys just simply haven't been good. But if we just wanted to throw Ben Williamson in here at $3K, that gives us a 4-man Seattle stack with $4,800 remaining. Now, if you want, you can plug in a $5,700 Albies probably. We could go... So what do we have? 4,400 remaining. Can we make a 4-4 here? Nah, I don't want Nick Allen in that at the 9. I think we can do better than that. Ozuna at 5,400. Michael Harris is 5K, batting 6th. And we've got what, the 3, 5, 6? That would work. Can that get us to somebody decent at shortstop for 2,900? Oh man, 9-hole JP Crawford. We got to try it. We got to run this. We'll try 20% the first large field contest. Let's see what happens. Okay, Polanco's only hitting lefty right now due to injury. Thanks. -4%. So then does this change if we take Gonsolin out, put Sale in, and then upgrade shortstop? This is why this tool is great, because you can start off with a bad lineup and then see where it gets better or where you're making it bad. That gives us 3,600. You could go Willy Adames, Nick Allen. Nick Allen batting 9th at 3,500 might honestly just be the play here. All right, let's see if this changes anything for us. Projected 106.83. I just don't know if the ownership's going to be too much. Share my jackpots. Ozuna, 0 points last night. Good. Maybe he saved them all for today. All right, a little bit better. A little better. And then you take Michael King out. We'll end it on this. Actually, I said we'll look at some home runs. Emerson Hancock, plug him in. Now you've got 2,800 remaining. We already have pretty expensive bats in here in a lot of these spots. Does it get us to... Like, what happens if we just plug Mookie Betts in and now we have a 4-3-1 stack with 700 remaining? Can that do it for us? Garver, Solano, Albies, Williamson, Betts, Arozarena. What do we have Arozarena at? 8.92 projection. And we have Julio Rodriguez at 9. Okay, here we go. If this isn't better, I'm going to be shocked and dismayed. Ethan, this stream gives me life while working, playing the 555 this afternoon. Thanks for the plays, Lobby. Yeah, man. Thanks for hanging out. Absolutely. All right. A little better. 10%, which I just wonder what we're doing differently than the Sims that isn't getting us to that big number. I mean, it's very possible that it's just because we have a handful of relatively shitty Seattle bats in there. That could have something to do with it. Like if you went cheaper at pitching, maybe cheaper than Hancock, and plug somebody else in there over, say, Williamson or over Donovan Solano. But they don't even project that bad for their price point. I guess Williamson projects the worst at that price point at third base. And he may be kind of just dragging everything down. But I don't know. Anyway, play around with it for yourself, guys. Already mentioned, you can get the tools for free. with that link in the description where you just join any of the sports books with those links and get these tools for free. The only thing about this single lineup sim is you're going to have to tell the family you'll be back soon because it's super time consuming in a good way. Like, you'll fall in love with it and then you just keep tweaking and tweaking until you find lineups that you really love. All right, let's look at a few homer plays. By the way, if you don't mind, atone for your sins this fine morning. Hit that thumbs up. We got day baseball. What better time to be here? Hit that thumbs up. Subscribe to the channel. Appreciate you guys for it. And follow me at Lafayette_D on Twitter. LOUGHY_D. Steven, you got Freeman for a homer? Okay. Let's see. Yesterday, this tool, man, gave us this live odds tool is free, by the way. You can set your edge books, even if you didn't want to sign up on OddsShopper Portfolio EV for the far more advanced tools and algorithm. This tool was all over that Yankees game, basically telling us that things were mispriced. Wow, Mitch Garver, look at that. 13% edge on FanDuel right now. Christopher Morel, that's a 7 o'clock game. Do we have any for the early games? Let's see if we have any good ones for the early games with a positive edge. And you can set your edge books. You don't have to. You can just go with the ones that we have. Devers, I bet Devers at plus 475 already. I mentioned that I'm just going to keep betting that guy until I get it right. And of course, yesterday I didn't bet him the homer, which he did. Cal Raleigh. Oh no, that's negative now. Ian Happ. Yeah, looks like nothing for the early games, but for these late games, a few nice homer plays on the board. And this is market-based, right? So you're finding your edge by identifying the true odds on these bets. So if you're saying, look, all of these sharp books have much, much, much worse odds, you got to be careful with some guys on FanDuel because FanDuel is the only book out there where even if they don't start, the bet doesn't void. And you can get bent over a barrel. They don't start, but then they come in to pinch hit and they strike out. You only got one plate appearance from them, and now your bet loses. But all these other books, if they don't start, it doesn't matter. Oh, man, how about this? Corbin Carroll? Who's he got today? I haven't even looked at the main slate. Who's Carroll got? I mean, it's the Mets, right? Who does Corbin Carroll have? Let's see. 6-1 odds. Every other book has him in the low to mid 400s. Wow. All right, let's see. Someone in chat already mentioned it, I'm sure. Corbin Carroll. Brazaban. And then Waddell is your likely, Brandon Waddell is your likely long relief guy. What's Arizona's implied total? Game has an 8.5 run total. They're slight favorites. Man, you don't have to convince me of that at all. I kind of like that. It would be lefty though, right? So there's that, but 6-1 on FanDuel. Nice spot. Really nice. I wish we had some for these early games, but you take what we get. And Mitch Garver, even in a pitcher-friendly park, plus 520. Look at the odds compared to these other books. We've got the true odds at plus 446 on Garver. I'm going to plug that bet in right now with the platoon advantage against the lefty. Bad park be damned. We'll take it. We will take it. And for anybody who actually wants to get some bets in today, Captain America, Ohtani, Hernandez, Marte, Murphy, few home runs I like in the early games. Yeah, hard to go wrong with Ohtani and Hernandez. Just always shop the odds because a lot of books are going to nerf those odds and you're going to get screwed on that. Always try and keep that in mind, especially with some of those like guys that hit a lot of home runs. When you've got guys that hit a lot of home runs, some of these books, you might get an Aaron Judge at plus 180, whereas another book has it at plus 250. That makes a really considerable difference over time. Really does. You ever want to check these tools out, by the way, guys, link in the description. They're free for your first week. Oh, actually, no, I'm wrong. you're getting 2 weeks for $1 because Devers hit on Dinger Tuesday. I forgot all about that. So we do this every Tuesday. If any of our home run plays hit that we have, that means that you get Portfolio EV free for your first week, and then the second week is only $1. And we had 2 out of the 6 hit yesterday. So yeah, okay. There you go. If you want to jump in, links down there in the description. I tell you guys all the time, if you're a DFS player, you should have a betting method as well that buoys the DFS losses, because DFS baseball is so volatile. And this way you can have a bad day. Like you have plenty of them where I come out I wake up the next morning and check and I go, oh, actually it was a net positive day, even though I lost in DFS. That's the one thing I can say about this that'll totally change the way you look at all of sports from a betting and DFS perspective, is do yourself a favor and buoy those losses. And on the great days on both sides, it's just even better. It's that much sweeter. So yeah, if you use Dinger, DINGER, you're going to get your first week free, and then the second week for only $1. Use the weekly sub. That's $1 for basically half a month for all of the tools, including the parlay generator, which is the closest thing to DFS that we have, right? Because you can generate these parlays, and then you can decide how much exposure you want to each play. Like you want to put the same play in each parlay 3 times, you can literally get 60% exposure to a guy across 5 parlays. It's really cool. I use it all the time. And when I hit, it's like 5 or 6 parlays and I'm winning all of them. It happened to me the other day. Won 3 straight parlays at plus 1,500 or plus 1,600. This tool for DFS players is the shit. It's the best way to cross over from DFS to betting if you don't like betting just straight plays. Check it out. Dinger, DINGER. At the very end of the day, if you hate it, you go, I spent $1 on 2 weeks. You know? Anyway, links in the description for Portfolio EV. But let's have ourselves a day, friends. We covered pretty much everything here, as we try to do every time we do this strategy show. You ever have any questions, hit me up in the comments or DM me at Laffy_D or tweet me. My DMs are open. And we'll see you back here tomorrow, live before lock. Peace.